All right, this video is going to show a knees over toes calf raise, and this is something that you can scale up very gradually, especially if your knees aren't used to handling a whole lot of stress. And this can also go much deeper. So the way you set this up is basically facing a wall about one arm's length. Just keep your hands on the wall to start. And from knees, hips, shoulders, everything stays stacked on one vertical line. But you're going to step your feet back. So I'm bending my knees, but I'm still keeping this line. So knees, hips, shoulders. And you just take this to where you can feel that stretch in the back of the leg, where the limit is, where your heels start to lift. And you may find, especially if your hamstrings, especially if the backs of your legs are tight for whatever reason, or maybe your knees aren't used to handling the stress, maybe you just step your feet back a little bit and this is your shape, and this is fine. But you go from here, and this should be a point where your heels are just barely lifted from the floor, so that's your base position. You're going to keep everything vertical from the knees on up, and just lift from the ankles. Straight up, and lower back down. Straight up and lower back down. Now again, everything stays vertical from the knees on up and just going back and forth from that position where the heels are just barely pulled off the floor. So it'd be 25 of these. Now, if you can take it further back, now my range puts me, let's see. So I got knees, hips, shoulders. I'm going to be going maybe a little further, maybe a little further. I am about here, and this is about where my range takes me, where my heels want to lift. So again, it's the same thing. Everything stays vertical from the knees on up. Lift, and it's just from the toes and ankles. Come back down. Lift, come back down. Lift, come back down. So everything from the knees on up is just traveling in one vertical line, or as close to that as you can get. So you bring it back and forth 25 times. Now, once you've got a pretty good range here, and this feels easy 25 times, then you move on to one leg. So this is still where my heel starts to lift. I'm going to put my right leg over my left. So all the stress goes into my left leg. Everything's stacked from the knee on up. Lift and come back down. Lift, come back down. Lift, come back down. And all you're doing is taking it back and forth like this, trying to hold at the top and come down with control, taking that position where your heel comes down just above the ground. And that would be 25 right and left if you're able to do this on one leg.